same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm a good watch in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. Keep going a little bit longer.
Live from the campus of Syracuse University, this is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into our Newhouse Sports Media Center. I'm Ailey Weiss alongside Riley Underwood and Nicholas Whaley. Thanks for joining us for another week of Newhouse Afternoon. Guys, there's been a lot going on, especially with the men's basketball team. So let's just start it off there. They just got two guys coming back that are pretty important to this team. I think those were should have been the two biggest priorities for Autry to bring back this year, and he was successful in that. But pretty much everyone else from the squad this past year has hit the transfer portal.
Well, I mean, I think we expected some of that to happen, especially because of the season that Syracuse just had. But to retain your two leading scorers from last season, and especially a guy like Donnie Freeman, who could have a breakout year and we expected a lot more from, hindered by injuries, I think that decision to come back shows some confidence in both the program and I think himself also, just coming back to a team and that may not have gotten the best out of him this year. So those two players coming back, I think, are big. Plus, you have the recruits coming in.
Right.
I think it could be a core four for Syracuse.
Well, when JJ put out his statement about coming back, when the team announced JJ's statement about coming back, he said he was excited to stay in the area. It's an honor to play for Syracuse, and he loves the aspect of being able to have so much family come and watch his games. And then for Freeman, it was more of like, hey, I feel like my business isn't finished here yet. Like, I owe more to Orange Nation. And I think that he still feels like he has something to prove for not only himself, but also to represent Syracuse still.
Yeah.
And they both referenced Autry in their release statements as well, saying that they trust him in the process and with who he's bringing in. And I'm sure that there's a lot of moving parts also that we don't know about yet of recruits in the transfer portal and stuff like that.
Say what you want about Coach Autry and the season so far, because you got to understand he didn't have his top 10 recruit with him for much of the back half of the season, for most of conference play. If Donnie Freeman is able to is available for much of ACC play, the Syracuse team would have probably been at least above 500. I think, you know, it's still not a perfect season by any stretch of the imagination.
But would have made a significant difference.
But I mean, like you said, Ailey, it's important that it's also impressive that Donnie Freeman wants to have that second year and feels like he still has work to do, and it shows that he has the confidence in Coach Autry.
That was the biggest part for me with that statement.
And there's so many moving parts around the athletic department recently. New NIL coming in, which is obviously so important now, and we've seen it.
What was it, $2 million that they had last year? Now it's $8 million.
Yeah, that's
a
massive.
Huge difference. Like,
huge
now they can at least start competing with some of these other ACC teams.
Yeah, look, I think JJ was going to stay.
Yeah.
I don't think there was no real benefit for him to go elsewhere. I mean, but Donnie Freeman is a guy who still has a certain amount of, definitely has a value to him that he could have, if he really wanted the NIL money, he could have gone elsewhere, you know, and to show that loyalty to the program, I think says a lot about Coach Autry as a coach, and that what an elite recruiter he actually is, you know.
I think the NIL is a big thing that Syracuse is really trying to get into and invest in. I mean, I just ran over from listening to John Wildak say, I mean, if we get this money, we're going to win ACC and national championships. I mean, I know that's every program's goal. But, I mean, just in the recent months, kind of the pushing out of the NIL and everything that's going to happen with that. Plus with this House versus NCAA thing, if we're going to have that $20.5 million to disperse, I mean, that just changes college basketball as a whole, because if you opt into that increases your scholarship limit from 13 to 15, and it also caps the roster at 15, so you're not going to have those walk-ons, and it just completely changes, I mean, the roster for college basketball and what that looks like. Also, I mean, I got to get an exclusive look at, they were having a promotion for about 20 Syracuse football players came in. They could shoot with a couple of brand packages that they had. That Jake Paul's brand was there. They had some headphones there. So they could post that, and then they get to take it home. So kind of just starting out like education for the student athletes, I think, is where Syracuse is at right now, because it's just become so big.
So
in
fast.
college sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it in real time how quickly it's changing. I mean, the fact that St. Francis is going from D1 to D3
Yeah.
because of the power of NIL, which is honestly disappointing to me, seeing that the Power 4, 5 conferences have just such a grasp on all that NIL money, which you understand why, but it's making it so difficult for mid-majors to compete.
Right.
You know, and I mean, Syracuse is obviously a powerhouse, and I'm sure next season I think they're going to be back at the top once again, because. But you got to understand that they have those resources, mid-majors, like even locally, like the likes of CN and Buck. Now they're never going to be able to compete at the top of the NCAA ever again, at least the way it's currently constructed. So I think it'll be interesting. But I'd like to point out that I did predict that Donnie Freeman would stay over a month ago. If we could play that clip right now, because they call me Houdini. Let's put it that way.
Oh my God.
Okay.
The case, we talk about that starting four, at least 4 of the starting 5 is going to be Donnie Freeman, Sadiq White, JJ Starling, and Kyan Anthony. That team will absolutely at least make it to the Sweet 16
Wow.
of the NCAA tournament
Okay.
next year.
Hello, we got
Those
some
four-
reactions from
if
the
that
live audience
happens,
in here too.
absolutely will make the Sweet 16 next year. As long as you have, if you get the center that you're waiting for, 100%.
Right, but who are you going to have on the bench that's going to help them get there?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so there's a lot to break down there. First of all, it does very much matter who's on the bench. I know we revisited that after the show.
Okay.
It does very much matter who's on the bench.
matter, but
starting off with that, they already brought in William Kyle III, who committed to Syracuse last night from UCLA. He
took 4 days,
is
by the way.
suppo-
Just want to point that out.
I mean, he averages less than 3 points a game. I don't think that's going to be
Yeah,
an
Right,
immediate.
but he's known
he-
to be a very athletic person and very good on defense. One defensive player of the year, or some defensive excellence acknowledgments when he was still at the school before he was even at
SDSU,
UCLA.
San Diego State.
So, like, that's like something to acknowledge. Yes, he had a down year last year with UCLA, but bringing him in, he's not going to be your starter, like your big starting, but he's a good guy to bring in off of the bench. I think that's a good start for their recruiting.
By the way, just because he averages 3 points a game, by the way, he only averaged about 8 minutes a game, you know.
Right.
And the guys who are scoring 20 points a game are not going to be transferring and playing 30 minutes, you know. You got to find the diamonds in the rough. And when he played at SDSU, he averaged over 13.5 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, had the second most dunks in the NCAA that season. Like, it's a guy who's a rim protector, is physical down low. That is another option, because by the way, Syracuse didn't have a single center on the roster until last night. So look, you gotta be able to find these guys who can make that impact and just be an option.
Yes.
Because there are 13 guys on that roster that need 13 scholarships on that roster that need to be filled, and when all you have at the moment are the 2 outstanding freshmen coming in, JJ Starling, Donnie Freeman, and Peter Majstorovic. That's all that's there at the moment, you know, and that's just the way that NIL has shifted everything. That you got to build a team, you got to recruit a team through the transfer portal and the transfer portal alone. Like the likes of Rick Pitino, they're not even going to be looking at high school players this year. So, which is just
Well, he's
a
a
huge shift.
He's a big guy. He's 6'9". He's lanky. He's very athletic, though, and that was something that we had discussed on our show throughout the men's basketball season with Lampkin. Is he was big, and that was what they needed. They needed a big presence down low, but he was kind of slow, and then he would pick up these fouls and get in foul trouble, and then it was like, who are we going to for a big now? Like, they didn't have anyone else. So having him come off the bench, more athletic, can be faster, maybe do some pick and rolls, a little bit more mobile, I think will definitely play to their benefit. Not going to be their starting big. Maybe could work into that spot, see how he does in the ACC moving into that role, but
yeah, I mean, I think when you watch his film, it stands out that he is a good defender. He has
and
that's
something
vertical.
that they need to work on tremendously for next season.
And they still, after this, they have 5 scholarship spots to fill. So they're going to get 5 more guys out of the transfer portal. I mean, I don't think he's an instant fix. I mean, he averaged, like you said, he averaged less than 10 points a game for a non-tournament team. But that I'm not saying that's a bad get.
What do you mean? What do you mean that for SDSU they made the
for UCLA?
No, UCLA.
Oh, for UCLA, they were a tournament team though.
Oh yeah, well, barely.
I know. Okay, I know what you're saying. They won one game in the tournament. Maybe Utah State. Okay, I get. You played for South Dakota State, no, San Diego State. But I get what you mean. I think it's just good to have those options. I think Naheem McLeod at the moment, he is staying.
No, Naheem McLeod's out of eligibility.
Does he not have one more year left?
Nope.
Oh, well, correct what I was just about to say then. But then definitely you need another center, because otherwise the options would be to have William Kyle play the center or Donnie Freeman play at the 5.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So there's Quincy Ballard from Wichita State, who's now in the portal. He's originally from Syracuse. I could see them going out and getting him. He'd be a good guy to pair for that center pair. He could probably be the starter, be their starting center for them, and then maybe not split it 50-50 with Kyle, but be able to rotate Kyle in and get him some minutes as well. I think he could be a good get for them, and everyone loves coming back to Syracuse. If you're originally here, JJ Starling did that, so maybe he could have some combos with him and tell him how great it is to come back and be able to have your family come and watch and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's still plenty of time for in the portal cycle. Obviously, I mean, I think it's great you already got one.
Right.
I think it's great you already got a player. I mean, sometimes that takes time to get your first one. Now you got your first one. Now there's some other pieces that you could have. So, besides the 4 freshmen coming in, the only people that have ever played college basketball that are on the roster, William Kyle from UCLA, JJ Starling, Donnie Freeman, and Peter Majstorovic. So there's some room to grow. Obviously, I think they'll go out and probably try to get another point guard like the Jaquan Carlos they tried to get last year. I think they'll go out and get that. And I think, like you said, going for the big man. You lose Naheem McLeod. You lose Eddie Lampkin. You lose Jair Davis. Those are players you're going to have to find replacements for and fill a need rebounding, paint defense, which was a struggle this year.
So
and now they know
defense. They just need defense in general.
They're also going to need 3-point shooting. We got to realize that as well. Chris Bell will be gone. Elijah Moore will be gone. We don't know what Sadiq White and Kyan Anthony will bring to the table exactly, but I think you need to have at least one more spot and shoot guy who can shoot threes from beyond the arc, because that was an Achilles heel for Syracuse all season long anyway. But I am passively optimistic. I am, and I stand by what I said over a month ago, is that I do think that this team can make the Sweet 16 next year. I do, with an ACC conference that's just looking a little on the ropes still, that if Syracuse can make a decent run in the tournament, in the conference tournament next year, to me the sky's the limit, because you can see what Duke has been able to do and how dominant they've been. I think Louisville and Clemson, they were decent enough teams to make the tournament, but I think just a few wrong decisions for them in their games went against them, and that's what really led to their downfalls as well. I think the ACC will make a big step up next year, because they kind of need to. They're going to be making that push, especially on the men's basketball side, to get back to the top, because the ACC should be a dominant conference, and this season obviously it hasn't been that way.
Yeah, I think it was kind of maybe a wake-up call for the ACC. I mean, you have only 4 teams that made it, only 3 outright that don't have to play a play-in game, and then they all except your golden child Duke, they all lose, and they were expected to win almost. Clemson was expected to win.
Still my pick to win.
Louisville was, I mean, that's an 8-9 matchup that could go either way, and then you only have one. Granted, Duke makes the Sweet 16, but it's just a tournament that's just been dominated by the power schools. I mean, only 4 conferences represented in the Sweet 16, 7 of them from the SEC. So it's just pretty different, and I think a lot of that is because of NIL, the transfer portal. Is it leveling the field like they said they would? I don't think so.
The other way around.
I think it is the other way around.
I think it is so much more lopsided. And you can kind of tell there's the different tiers that when you're looking at all the schools that have so much money are just sitting so high above everyone else, and then it just completely drops off.
It drops off, but that's not even the biggest spenders. They're not the best teams. I mean, even the biggest spenders weren't the best teams this year. Obviously, you're going to have your blue bloods that are, but the other ones that spend big money, like Indiana, Kansas State, they didn't do as much, and they were in the top 4 in NIL spending for men's basketball this year.
Didn't even make the tournament.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for this chat. I know we kind of went a little long on that, but there was a lot to cover. This hour of Newhouse Afternoon is powered by Drivers Village Cicero, so go to dvoffers.com for more info. Stay with us for more. Cool. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk March?
Did not realize it was South Dakota State.
Yeah, South Dakota.
Oops, my bad.
It's okay.
It's just because I was looking at a Twitter post that said SDSU, and I was like, San Diego State. Which I probably should have realized it because I remember when they made that run. Stupid. But it's okay. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to. I just don't know what to think, man. I think the tournament's been so dead. I've never watched a March Madness and wanted to not watch more of it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I like when this was the first time I watched until the last whistle, which was Texas Tech last night, because it was like obviously because it went to overtime. Is that the first overtime of the tournament? Might be. Or was there another one?
Huh?
Oh no, there was another overtime.
No, yeah, I thought there was one more.
But
That's Texas A&M and Houston when it's overtime.
yeah. But you know.
Deion Sanders gets 5-year, $54 million extension.
Are you serious? Jesus.
Oh yeah, I saw that right before we hopped on the episode.
That is crazy.
Shout out
Shout
Kev
out.
from Liverpool. Bringing that to my attention.
No, I think Donnie got paid on before. Yeah, no, of course. He of course got paid. There's a big that's why they stayed.
Right.
But he probably could have got the same amount of money somewhere else, you know?
Yeah.
That's the point I would make, that he had the choice to go to another powerhouse school, because he is a 5-star recruit that has a lot of raw talent, and I'm sure could have gone to any other ACC school or an SEC school and gotten a bag as well. So, God, I wish I was good at sports. would have been nice. if we had done well in our athletic careers, well enough.
I did do well. I just didn't do
We'd be
good
talking
well
about
enough.
you, Nick.
No. I mean, like we would have been in the prime.
$1 million. This is how he's playing. This kid sucks.
We would have been at that. We would have been at the point where we would be making money, but no.
Oh.
Actually, to be fair, I don't know. Does men's soccer make a lot of money? Not really.
I don't think so.
No. Nah, there's no way. They have their NIL shops, but I think that's all they really have.
How's the old FIFA Mobile doing?
I actually haven't played in a couple of days.
Oh, it's only in class.
Bro, yeah. Did you go to the optional?
Yes, I did.
How many people were there?
Not too many, no.
Yeah. What did you do this? Oh, sugar.
What?
I forgot to do that assignment.
Which one?
Isn't there an assignment due?
On Monday.
Oh, it's Monday.
No, last Monday.
No,
Like-
I thought
like-
it was a new one.
What?
In ethics.
Yeah, I know which what was it?
Hang on.
Are you talking about the proposal?
Oh, yeah. Oh, build your own ethics. Oh, the build your own ethics code.
Oh no, I have to do that. When's that due?
The 4th. I have way too much due in the next short amount of time.
Check if you were on the list.
I wanted to. I already know I'm on one of those lists, so I didn't even want to ask.
Yeah.
I'll just be better about it.
They were not. Yeah. She just said I need to raise my hand more.
Really?
Yeah. I don't why. Yeah.
What?
I was on the.
I thought you were alright. I thought you were alright.
Whatever. Because
That's crazy.
I'm on the do not participate enough list. So.
Damn.
You are?
Yeah, I gotta get.
Riley,
Says well,
get chatty.
raise your hand one time, and the rest of the classes you'll be all right. I said okay. Nick just talks too much.
Yeah,
Can't get a word in.
He's a blabbermouth. That's alright. Wait, are you?
Nah, it's not
You
Nick
wanna-
that does it.
Are we doing this?
Yeah. Well, let's just make our predictions for the rest of the games.
All right.
Okay.
favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into our Newhouse studios once again. Ailey Weiss next to Riley Underwood and Nicholas Whaley here for the hour of Newhouse Afternoon. We just talked everything men's basketball, the transfer portal, guys coming back next year, what we think that they should need to get out of the transfer portal. But of course there's March Madness going on, which unfortunately Syracuse is not in, neither the men's or women's teams, but we're going to go through some picks for the rest of the games. So, Whaley, take it away.
Sweet 16 well underway, obviously. We finally had a decent game last night between Arkansas and Texas Tech. By the way, the most Arkansas loss I've ever seen.
That was, I thought they had it in the bag.
They were up by like 8, was it 18?
Yeah, it was
at
crazy.
halftime. Like, look, to all the Razorback fans out there, I feel for you because this just happens in every sport every year.
I mean, they made the run. They made the run. 10 seed.
Yeah, they were. They were there too at the Texas Tech team that is missing guys, and Mr. Calipari. It was going so well for them, but obviously they lost. Wrapping up the Sweet 16 tonight. First is Ole Miss, Michigan State, then Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, and then to close out the night, Purdue, Houston. So I think for me, honestly, I think Ole Miss takes down Michigan State.
No.
Really.
Ole Miss takes down Michigan State.
I have Michigan State winning it all. So Michigan State.
You have Michigan State winning it all? What?
I don't like that pick.
No.
Okay,
I like the pick of. I think Michigan State's not. I don't think Tom Izzo is going out this early. He's not going out this early.
I don't know, man. I think.
Although it was a pretty impressive win over Iowa State, Mississippi.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm sticking with Michigan State.
There haven't been enough upsets so far. There has to be at least a few more coming in, and I think if there's going to be one tonight, I think that one could be it. I do think Tennessee will. I think Tennessee, Kentucky.
I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be tight.
It's going to be really tight. Let me double check what I had in my bracket.
I think I have Kentucky going. I think I have
Kentucky as well. I think I had them going to the Elite Eight because I just don't think Tennessee has enough just to get past the state. They also lost to Kentucky a couple times. Tennessee also lost to Kentucky twice this season, so they've had their number already. So I will take. That's where
it came from.
Yeah,
that's where it came. That was like, well, these two teams. They can go back. Let me look. Yeah, Kentucky won both matchups.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So I will take Kentucky every day of the week. Make it 3 out of 3 on the year. Michigan, Auburn.
You're going with. I gotta go with that. You gotta go with
War
Auburn.
Eagle, man. I think you gotta go Auburn there. I think that one would be silly to not go that way. Houston, Purdue, I think is a little bit more interesting because Houston, they are the best team in that region, I think still. But whatever reason, Houston are always an Elite 8 team, and then they get bounced. It happens every year.
They still have one more.
They still have one more. But that's what I mean is maybe it happens early this year.
I don't think so. I think I have Houston going all the way.
To the championship.
I think they're winning it. I think this is the year, and I know they disappoint every year. Houston.
Wow.
They're the best defensive team coming into the tournament. They're the best shooting team in the tournament, and it's usually just the defensive side. They usually, we know Houston's got a good defense, and their shooting is average, above average. But they shoot almost 40% from 3, and I think that's been a part that's been missing from the game. I don't think they're going down. I think it's going to be Houston, Auburn, final 2, and I actually have Alabama taking down Duke.
Really? You have Bama beating Duke.
Bama beating Duke. Mark Sears, man.
Bama doesn't play defense.
They score points.
Do you know who does play defense?
Who plays defense?
The Duke
Houston
Blue Devils. The Duke Blue Devils have one of the best defensive players in the country. Look.
They just gave up 93 points, but they're really good at defense.
Against U of A, who was probably one of the best attacking teams in the.
Well, then they're in trouble against the best offense. They're in trouble.
U of A was down by 20 in the game at one point. Look, I think Duke is still the best team in the tournament, and I think if Cooper Flagg stays healthy the rest of the way,
is he 100%?
I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
No.
But But he's getting better, but he's getting closer and closer to that every game.
Do you think he is, or do you think he just wants everyone to think he is because you're playing on an injury? Like how could that be getting better if you're still playing?
I think you can tell though. I don't think he's at 100%. He's just like if you're watching him in the regular season versus now, it's just a little less explosive. Like if you're watching Duke games, there's a couple of them where it's like, yeah, if that was Cooper Flagg was healthy, you would have slammed that thing. Like instead of just like going for like a little off balance layup or something.
Right.
And I think that's the key. If he was 100%, I think it'd be a different story. But even if you're 90, I think it's a difference.
But his 90 is still significantly better than
I know.
So many other players.
I know.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that BYU couldn't pull it out, man. I remember when I watched them, I think it was playing against Memphis, and they went out to like a 28-2 lead. I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are going to be an offensive threat. But then Alabama breaks the three-point record in an NCAA tournament game. All of a sudden, that was one of the best offensive performances I think I've ever seen in a tournament game. And that is, I was worried about Bama going into the tournament. Like last year, I had them winning the whole thing. And I was happy. I was very thankful that they got to the final, but I mean, I've never seen the team explode like that in a tournament game. I mean, it was just they were just so confident, and you would think for me, college basketball is always just about. It's about being a bit more physical, you know, compared to the NBA, where it's like you get fouled for every little thing.
It's a lot of the tic-tacky fouls in NBA, whereas I think college, it almost kind of feels more like the difference between like AAU and like high school basketball season was like they let them like rough it out a little bit more.
NBA is not real basketball, so.
No, there you go.
That's a conversation for a separate time. But they kind of let them play through a little bit more and get a little bit more physical, but I also think that I mean, if we're going to kind of talk about some comparisons between the NBA and NCAA, is they still play good, hard defense in college. And that's something that completely, in my opinion, slacks off in the NBA. Like, it just feels like so many teams don't. There are definitely those players that stand out that do still play defense. Obviously, I'm going to talk about my Celtics. Like, they're a very good defensive team as well as offensive. But, like, okay, I'll stop. But I feel like it's way more common in college to find teams that can do both, or at least are trying to do both. It feels like in the NBA, they're just like, okay, yeah, here's a lane to the rim. Like, you take it, you go ahead.
Who'd you have in your Final Four?
Like,
who's left?
Who's left? I have Auburn coming out of the South. I have Alabama coming out of the East. And I have, obviously, Houston. And then I think I might go Texas Tech over Florida. I think
really
over Florida.
I think so. Wow. I think the comeback. Wow. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know about. There's just something about Florida. There's just something. I don't trust it.
You don't trust it?
I don't trust it.
That's fair. No, I get that. They were just. I felt like they got hot too quickly. That it might eventually they might run out of steam. I get that. I just don't think Texas Tech is good enough to beat them.
Yeah.
I think my Final Four. Honestly, though, I see Kentucky taking down Houston to get to the Final Four. I'll have Kentucky, Duke,
I could get on board with that.
Duke, Auburn, Florida is my Final Four.
So who's taking it all?
Duke is still my pick. What about you, Ailey?
I'm sticking with Michigan. That's who I have.
Michigan or Michigan State?
Oh, Michigan State.
Okay.
Sorry. Michigan State. No, not Michigan.
My goodness. There's no,
all of my credibility with you two is about to go in the trash.
Well, I don't know. You could have made a crazy pick that we could have played it in a couple weeks. You would have said, "Oh, look at this."
Wait, cut out the other part. Michigan wins. That was all me. No. I'm gonna take Michigan State. I do have Michigan State and Duke in the finals, but I think Michigan State's gonna take it all.
Wow.
But I think Florida's gonna be in the Final Four. I agree they got hot very fast, but I don't really see them slowing down anytime soon either. And the whole thing about March Madness is you need to get hot at the right time. But then it's like, can you maintain that spark throughout the whole tournament? So I know that's where your concern's coming from. And that is in the back of my head as well when I'm talking about this stuff. But I think Florida's momentum is still going, and they haven't really showed too many signs of slowing down yet.
One thing about Michigan.
Michigan State?
I'm talking about Michigan.
Okay.
Justin Pippen, Scottie Pippen's son. How do you enter the transfer portal when you're in the NCAA tournament?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is the purpose? Why can you not wait?
I feel for the coaches who are playing in this tournament. You have to prepare for the biggest game of the season.
It's ridiculous.
For some of these guys, it's the biggest game of their careers, and you as a coach, you got to worry about whether or not one of your players, maybe a guy who was actually a decent bench player that could actually make an impact, or maybe a guy that they were saving for later in the tournament run, and you got to worry about if they're going to enter the portal,
if they're going to quit,
if they're literally going to quit on the team. You know, I understand why they have the portal like now, because technically there's only 16 teams left playing. The rest of Division 1 and all the other college schools, they're all done. They've been waiting to get in the portal. But for me, what's another 2 weeks?
Right,
you know?
but that's also the thing with Will Wade and the McNeese State head coach is going into the tournament. He already told his team that he was not going to be their coach next season, and then he expects these guys to come out and play as hard as they possibly can for him. I kind of questioned that as well. I don't know if
that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a really tough situation
you can
to
still
be
keep
in.
that. You can still, even if you're negotiating,
right?
You don't have to come out.
Don't
you can
tell
just,
your guys that
we
yet.
got a deal. Sure, we got a deal. We
Right.
don't have to bring it out to everyone before the game.
Right.
It was actually, I think it was reported by ESPN, literally the night before they played Clemson. I mean, it was good. It's huge. They did win that game, obviously, but I'm sure, like they win that game, and then I don't know. In my head, if my coach goes, "Yeah, I'm leaving you guys at the end of the year," that's gonna affect my psyche
100%.
immediately. Or especially if he didn't tell his guys before, like we don't really know. I mean, that would have affected me straight away.
I don't know. And even if you're like a player entering the portal in the Sweet 16. What does that say about you as a player?
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing for a national championship.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna
you're
quit?
ready to walk out
You're
the
just
door?
ready to quit. This is what we've been working for as a team.
Right.
You might.
I don't know.
You might never make it to this point again.
Right.
You know. So.
Yep. I don't know, guys, but I think if I was in any of these positions, I would wait till the tournament's over for respect of not only my teammates but my coach as well.
And yourself.
Yeah.
What have you been working?
Your own
what's the
reputation
point?
as well. Yep.
It's like, what do you have to? What do you lose by waiting?
I don't know.
You know, the portal's open for 30 days for a reason. You know.
Right.
If you're a good player, you're gonna get picked up.
Exactly.
Right. You should have confidence in yourself at that point. Okay, so now that we just talked pretty much everything March Madness, we will be talking some lacrosse. Both men's and women's have games tomorrow against Virginia Tech, so stick with us after the break.
The 315 with Brian Higgins.
Adam Zagori, covering college basketball,
Virginia.
tweeted out this morning.
What did I say?
Virginia Tech.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Awesome.
Ultimate fail. Yeah, we've been on an NIL tangent today.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many opinions about it that I'm happy that we're talking about it. I mean, it just makes me so frustrated.
I already posted a clip.
They're so quick with it.
Yeah.
Jordan, who makes the clips? Who clips them?
A great
I
job.
think they're doing a great job. I think they're doing a terrible job.
Oh, poor guy.
You guys do it quick, man.
Yeah. Nah, it's good. Right. No time to waste.
We definitely want to come into the studio before Ailey's done. So if we'll email you when we can come in.
I think we only have 2 more shows left. I counted it today. Oh my God, what did I do to my wrist?
You good?
Ow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
From your bracelet?
maybe.
That's a reaction.
Oh.
That it's turning green.
Yeah.
No. No, I had a wristband on and I ripped it off.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Yeah. I can't wear my watch anymore because I don't know. It's just like
It's all puffy. It's kind of
irritated.
gross.
Yeah. Can't believe it's almost April, man. Oh my God.
I know.
What the hell?
What the heck?
What the heck?
It makes me so sad, man. Like, it's Crazy. I gotta give my cat back. So many sad things.
Wait, can I hop on the
What?
show next year with you guys?
You got to give your cat back?
To my Linda, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
yeah, I'm crazy. No,
I still can't believe you're doing that. When she told me, I was like, what? What is going on?
I don't have any roommates.
So you're getting a little lonely in there? You got to get a cat? Take care of someone else's cat?
I have a house that normally has 5 people in it, and it's just me. It sucks. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to have a cat anyway.
Sure.
So
why not take care of someone's cat?
Yeah. And she's really cute. She actually likes me now too. It's great.
Oh, that's good.
I don't think Riley's a cat person.
Nah, I mean, they're fine. Like, I wouldn't.
Look how cute.
I wouldn't, like, probably
she.
sit one or
What's
live
her
with
name?
one in college.
What?
I probably wouldn't, like, live with one in college.
No, that's fair. Well, that's why this worked out for me, because it was only for 3 months. You know what I mean? She calls it Callie. I call it Cleo.
Okay, well. Pretty sure you're supposed to keep that consistent, but that's okay.
Okay, it's not like it's a dog. You know, like dogs need to keep it. They need to have the name.
Dogs need to have one name. All other animals can have multiple names.
Okay,
exactly. Well, yeah. It's also very.
Yeah. Good thing they don't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
So is it just like chilling in your house right now?
Yeah. She's vibing. Probably looking out the window.
Waiting for you to come home.
Yeah. She's always sitting there waiting for me to come back.
That's nice.
It's really cute.
Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into Newhouse Afternoon. Ailey Weiss alongside Nicholas Whaley and Riley Underwood. We just talked Syracuse men's basketball and then March Madness. We're going to change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about some lacrosse because both teams are in the full swing of things. They both play Virginia tomorrow. Women's lacrosse will be here in the Dome, their last game in the Dome of the season for them. And then men's lacrosse is traveling to Virginia and will be taking them on.
Is it really their last game in the Dome?
Yeah, because they have one later in the season, but they play it at one of the local Syracuse
Christian Brothers Academy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can start with men's lacrosse first. What do you guys think of their season so far? Actually, I'll start off with that.
Men's lacrosse?
Yep.
I mean, I think they're rolling right now. Won 4 straight after losing 2 in a row. I think they're meshing together.
Mm-hmm.
I think the face-off's been key.
Johnny Mullen has been absolutely phenomenal.
He's been the best player on the team.
I mean,
so good.
It's just, I think it's all coming together. I think there was a lot of doubters earlier in the season. And I think it's just.
Well, because Maryland's their kryptonite every year, and everyone's like, this is the year we're going to beat Maryland. Like, Syracuse men's lacrosse has got it this year. They've brought in some great transfers. They're developing Joey. They're developing Owen Hiltz, whatever, all these other players on offense too. And then you go play Maryland, you build up all this hype, and then they lose yet again, and everyone's like, oh, okay, well, here we go, another disappointing season for Syracuse men's lacrosse again. But then then the next week they take a tough loss to Harvard. Should have won that game, 100% should have won that game. Johnny Mullen set a school record for face-offs won. Like, if you are winning the ball that much and you're going down on offense that often and giving your offense the opportunity to score that frequently, how do you not win?
I've never heard of winning 28 face-offs in a game
and still losing
the game. It was unbelievable. But look, I am with Riley. I think it's great that they are won 4 in a row. A couple really good wins in there. It's like John Hopkins. But I don't want to make any judgments yet because you're about to go up against really good UVA team that's receiving votes, that was in the top 25 to start the season, and then you've got after that you've got.
It doesn't get easier.
It
gets about as hard as it can get.
Exactly. You got Notre Dame, number 6 in the country. Cornell, who are on fire and are ranked number 1 at the moment, on the road as well. And not even on the road. I don't think it's at a neutral site for Cornell. number 11 Duke, then after that in Durham as well, and then you've got number 5 North Carolina, UNC, to close out the year. This stretch of 5 games to close out the year could not be more difficult, and it's all but one is an ACC game.
They're going to need to win some of them, but I also think when tournament time comes around, strength of schedule is really going to come and play in their favor because of how difficult their season has been so far and how difficult it's going to end off.
Okay, but if they lose 3 of the 4, then you got to start looking at like, okay, then you have to start making a few decisions there, because then maybe Syracuse doesn't even make the ACC tournament.
Right. Well, you only have 5 teams, so you haven't even played a game. You haven't even played an ACC game, and your season's almost over. You only got 5 games left.
It's crazy. It's going to be. I mean, it's going to be important, and only top 4 make it as well. So, it's going to be a really interesting run-in, because I think this is a Syracuse offense in particular that when it's come to the big occasion, they've performed, and then also they've struggled.
Right.
Maryland was a prime example of that. Right. Where you were pretty good, you were really decent in the first half. Second half rolls around, you score 2 goals. That absolutely cannot happen.
No. And you keep playing your game, but obviously teams that you're playing against are going to start making adjustments when you're being that successful in the first half. So then it's, how is Gary Gate and the rest of his squad going to adapt to then teams adapting to how successful they were? So being able to change up their offense and being more diverse, and maybe bringing in some more guys, having a faster rotation off the bench, something like that, like shake it up a little bit. And I think that they've started to figure that out, because they've been able to maintain that success throughout the second half of games as of late.
The adjustments have been good. Yes. I will say, even with the injuries to Jackson Burtwhistle,
which was a huge
blow at the time, but the likes of Luke Rowe have made a big step up this year, and I think that's a really good sign for the future. I mean, this is the 2022 recruiting class that they're starting to reach their peak, and I think Joey Spallina has arguably been the best player in the country this season. So I think he has been stellar. He at 11 points,
5 goals, 6 assists. That's insane.
Most since Glenn Powell. It says a lot about the level that he is playing at the moment. But of course, it's as much as the individual brilliance of him is important, you need the rest of his guys to show up. And he can facilitate as much as he wants, but if guys aren't putting it in the net,
he can't do it all himself. We learned that last year. He can't do it, and he still receives so much pushback from social media, people saying that he's not that good. I'm like, are we watching the same player right now? Like,
it's the expectation that people put against him. It's like, as soon as he has maybe one subpar performance by his standard, people
which would still be excellent for anybody else on that team. But I think what I like most about him is, obviously, he's a standout player, but he makes his teammates so much better too, with his feet, like feeding to his players in front of the goal when they're making cuts, and facilitating, and also drawing the defenders out and kind of distracting the defense, because it's not like the opposing teams can't, like, they have to put their best defenders on him, if not 2 on him, to double team him to get rid of the ball, get it out of his stick. But then when he does that, he realizes who the open man is, tells them to cut. They have this telepathy. Him and Owen Hiltz work so well together, and they'll meet up behind the net and they'll come up with little schemes and stuff like that mid-game, which I love. I think that's awesome. So that's not only them communicating with the coaches on the sidelines, but that's them just bringing out their own creativity and expressing themselves in that sense on the field.
I think they're rolling right now. I think, obviously, this game on the road on Saturday is going to be big for ACC implications, because this is arguably right now the weakest ACC team that you're going to go up against. So this is a must-win, and I think they will win it. I think they're having a good. I think they played a good game against Colgate. I think they played a really strong. They played a really strong game. I think everyone was just clicking, and I think that's just been how it's going after that slow first half. We're like, oh my goodness, I think it was against Manhattan. They're like, can they pick it up? Yeah, they can pick it up. They won 18-2. And I think that's how it's gonna go. I think once we get into full ACC play, there's only 4 games, but that's really gonna show how they're gonna play into the postseason. But right now, I like where they're at. I do. I like where they're at. I think this team that could go far.
What do you think their biggest improvement has been so far this season versus last season?
It's a good question, to be honest. I think like I said before, the adjustments that they've been able to make on the fly. I think Coach Gary Gates' offense, sometimes it just lacked that identity.
Kind of felt like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, it felt a little,
or where they wanted to go.
It felt a little soulless. It was kind of just like, hey, use your individual talent, And I still want I think what we've also seen in the last few games is leadership and guys being like, hey, we need to pick up the pace here. We got to pull out of the trenches and let's get this done. And that was when I saw those 2 losses in the season. That's what was missing, was that leadership, I thought. And I think that's been a huge improvement this season. That's the likes of Owen Hiltz as well, who I think has been brilliant this season. Just being that leader on offense has been really, really important. I think there's still lots of lacrosse to play. So the ACC is no joke. Probably still the best. Is certainly the best. Certainly the best conference in college lacrosse. So there's it's going to be a fun end to the year, though.
Yeah.
I also think a big, I don't know if improvement, but very different goalie styles this year versus last year. I think Jimmy McCool is a much more consistent goalie than Will Mark was.
That's a lot saying. Will Mark's one of the best ever.
He was absolutely phenomenal, but he would make some of the most flashy saves, and then some of them would go by him. I'm like, how did you not save that one? Whereas I think Jimmy is much more consistent, and he makes those saves time and time again, and he'll have those flashy ones, but he doesn't have them as often. I think that's been a difference. But also, Jimmy's defense in front of him is significantly better than Will's was. I think their defense has had...
The defense has made a step up this year, for
yes.
sure. I think when Jimmy McCool got taken out for Michael Ippoliti against Harvard, that set my alarm bells ringing a little bit, being like, this guy, Jimmy McCool, has waited literally 2 years for his opportunity and then gets yanked. Like, that was really concerned, but didn't let it phase him. Went back in for the next game right away, and he was the guy. So no worries for goaltender.
One thing I have to touch on really quickly, I'm still not over this Sam English. Did you guys see this on Lacrosse Network? They were playing Johns Hopkins, and he brought the ball out to the wing, stretched his calves, whatever, to try and burn some clock. It was at the very end of the game, and then kind of puts his defender to sleep almost, burns him, goes in and scores. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, that was so good. So funny.
The hidden ball trick from
that one also.
the other day was
God,
amazing.
so good. I like that creativity of lacrosse. They have so much space, and because it's a huge field.
They're
so
walking highlight reel.
Yeah, no, seriously. There's something new from on Lacrosse Network of them every week.
All right, Ailey, real quick, let's get the rundown of the women's game.
So they're playing Virginia tomorrow. Both teams have kind of had similar seasons. There's an ACC Network studio show and a Syracuse.com pregame show and postgame show, and then a ACC Network extra halftime show. So tune in for that tomorrow.
Ailey's hosting, by the way.
And I will be hosting that with Tyler Aitken. Lots of good insight coming from him. He knows ball. So make sure to tune in that for the women's lacrosse game. That's all we have for right now. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back for our hot takes.
Hot takes, okay.
Hey, this is former Syracuse basketball player Atan Thomas.
Last season, the Syracuse center became the first Orangeman.
Who's doing it?
Who wants to do it?
I'm doing the last.
Last time.
I'm doing the last show, so you want to do it?
I don't care. Yeah, I'll have to think of something.
What source is this one?
Guys, I have read a new one. Not that you can see it from that far away.
Oh, God.
But it's Louisiana brand hot sauce.
Oh, my.
I don't really know where this came from. It just showed up in my fridge one day.
Maybe you were in Louisiana or something?
Oh.
No, but I didn't bring it back.
Oh, well, no.
I did not bring it back.
Okay, that's definitely enough.
Yeah, that's good.
Bro, what?
There's a reason why this is so small.
It's a little traveler size.
Oh, man. No, that's enough.
Come on.
No, genuinely?
I should have just made you take it.
Yeah,
Let me see this.
It doesn't smell any worse than Frank's, honestly.
Y'all about it doing me bad.
Is there like a...
Does it say what kind of peppers it is? I mean, it doesn't... Okay. Aged peppers, distilled vinegar, and salt. Like, what peppers, though? Okay, it might not be too bad.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, let me just
Okay,
put the
then
lid
you
on
do
this,
it.
because I feel like you're gonna... I'll take a sip of it for fun.
No. It's fine.
It's the traditional spirit of Louisiana always. Ready to spice things up?
Riley, we'll go.
This is hot sauce, just the way you like it.
Special
Simply relax, open the cap, and let the good times pour.
There's a place in the mall.
Got it?
All right. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Wait, what did you just say?
Nothing.
Completely zoned you guys out when I was talking.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're going to get a really spicy one for me to do for my last take? Just going to put 2 and 2 together?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what my hot take's going to be.
OMG.
If you say the Syracuse basketball game Sweet 16, I will say also, last night, Citrus TV Deportes futsal, 6-6 was the final score. Intramurals. It was genuinely the worst officiated game I've ever seen.
Well, that's what you get when you play intramurals at the Barnes Center.
It was genuinely like the worst I've ever.
We all say it every time.
I know, but genuinely, but Mr. Drew Alba with the who with the buzzer beater to tie the game. My legend.
So you're celebrating a tie?
Okay, but we nearly lost.
Oh, okay.
It felt like it was a draw that for them. We can talk about it after because the other team, they got on my nerves.
Oh man, Chief is in the house. If you didn't know, Chief is in the house.
What's up, Chief?
Audrey Glenn staring down at us from up above. What is
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Sports
pin.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's trying to show us a pin that's maybe the size of a quarter.
Kevin,
from I don't even know how many feet away that is.
Quit rushing me, man. Quit rushing me. He's like, take a taste. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'll see.
Patience is
I'll take a little
taste. Patience is a virtue.
She just licked it, man.
Oh man.
Do you have your water?
No, I don't have my water.
Oh my god. You're screwed.
Are you serious?
You yeah.
If just do a sip.
No, you gotta. There's barely any in there.
All right, 30 seconds.
I think this is like empty. Yeah.
Wait, I need it behind this. Can you set this up over there? Can you see if you can see us?
Bro, y'all really.
Make sure you can get. Wait.
That's gonna be fine.
Right in it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, do more of him. Okay. I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay.
This is about to be electric, man.
What did you say?
It's gonna be electric.
Absolutely electric. Oh, that was good.
How much time are we gonna have back when we come out of this?
3 minutes.
Okay. Sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into Newhouse Afternoon for our last segment. It's going to be a quick one. Riley's got our hot take today, and I brought in a new hot sauce. This is Louisiana brand hot sauce. We normally just do Frank's Red, but now we're trying a new one. And I think he's in for a treat, but we'll let him.
All right,
let him go for it.
I take it and then I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little while since you've done this, huh?
Pray for Riley.
Oh man. All right, I have 2. I'm gonna just stick with the Syracuse one first because I don't know if I'm gonna get through this. Syracuse men's lacrosse is going to only lose 1 game the rest of the season. It's gonna be to either Duke or North Carolina. I'm not sure. Other than that, they're going to win out. My other one for college football, or NFL football, I guess, Deion Sanders just became the 4th highest paid college football head coach with his new contract. Shedeur Sanders will drop out of the top 15 in the NFL draft.
Ooh, I like that actually. I actually really like that. I don't think he's rated that highly. I think Cam Ward is going to be, he might be number 1 pick anyway.
Yeah,
but I don't think Shedeur is. I
don't think so.
I think we've seen it. I don't think he's all that, man. I'll be interested to see what Travis Hunter goes to.
I think he'll go pretty high.
You think he'll go? I think he'll go 3rd. That's my.
I like that. I like that. I like that play.
That's my. If I was a GM, that's my pick.
What? So wait, back to men's lacrosse.
Yeah.
You said they're only going to lose one game.
Yep, and
Who
it's going
are
to
they
be
losing?
either Duke or North Carolina. That's 50-50 right now.
Okay.
But I think they're going to upset Cornell. I think they will.
I think
playing in Long Island.
Upset.
I think they got it.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Cornell. I think they'll lose to Duke though.
Duke's the team. All right, we'll go with Duke then.
On the road.
On the road, yeah, that's true. At least
I like
they'll
that,
be in the dome for UNC.
I think in terms of the NFL draft though, I'm very interested to see where Kyle goes. I honestly think Kyle could be a year 2 starter. And that's what a lot of teams are looking at him and that think that he could develop into a very decent quarterback. He's just got the intangibles.
There's been a lot of hype around him since that pro day.
There's a lot of hype and a lot of hype around Syracuse athletes in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I honestly think Kyle McCord will be a New York Jet.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
What round? What round?
Second round. I think.
Second round.
No. Because the Jets have a high third round pick. I'm gonna go third round.
Okay.
No, he won't be second round. Sorry. Correct.
But he'll stay in New York. That's all the time we have today on Newhouse Afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for this past hour, and we will catch you guys in 2 weeks.
This is Orange Nation.
Did you know Steve